Good evening. It is 6:00 p.m. The Board of Trustees of the Brenham Independent School District is now convened. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present. In collaboration with our families and community, Brenham ISD is committed to providing an exceptional education for all students in a safe environment. As the Brenham ISD Board of Trustees, we are here to provide local citizen governance and oversight. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. Audience participation is limited to the public comment portion of the meeting. These proceedings may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. Thank you for taking time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Brenham Independent School District. At this time, Susan Jenkins will lead us in the pledge, followed by the invocation given by Kelvin Raven.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. We ask that you look after us and protect our kids, our employees,
At this time, we have the public comment portion of the meeting. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the board or make comments to the board. The board will only listen without comment. The public participation section of the meeting will be limited to 30 minutes total. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes. Delegations of more than 5 persons shall appoint one spokesperson. Persons must identify themselves and the groups they represent at the beginning of each presentation. Persons who wish to participate in this portion of the meeting should have signed up with the presiding officer or designee before the meeting. Individual names may not be mentioned during the presentations. And Mrs. Gaskamp will keep time, and Mr. Artis Edwards. Good evening.
Good evening. Very quickly, I'm going to get straight to the matter. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to come and share. I am Artis Edwards Sr., and I hope that most of you know who I am and what I am about. I have been approached and asked to be the voice of our African Americans of this community in which I am a part of. And there are some deep concerns that directly affect our African American children, and for the most part, all children of this district. As I was reading our vision for this district, it says, I quote, "Brenham ISD, a proud community, inspiring and encouraging excellency for all." All is capitalized. Our mission, I quote, "In collaboration with our families and community, Brenham Independent School District is committed to an exceptional education for all." Again, all is capitalized, students. We, the African American of this community, believe in this vision. We believe in the mission that I've read. And as a group of people, again, I want to quickly voice a deep concern that we have. We have several, but I just want to cover one because things are always fast and furious when it comes to hiring leaders of our campus, hiring leaders in this community. So I want to make sure I make it clear to the board tonight that what we're seeing is we're seeing a decline in diversity, culture, diversity in campus leaders. We have approximately 3, one assistant principal, one at the junior high who will not be returning, one at AEP. And what I want to say is that we as a group of people do not want to see it diminished to 0. Because we believe that if we're going to teach our children culture, diversity, working together, it requires even African Americans or minority leaders on our campus. And we can't say they're not good enough because we had 3 10 years ago or so where we were successful. 30 seconds more. I remember one year we had exemplary, and one recognized campus. After which we had one exemplary, two recognized, under the leadership of African Americans. And I believe we brought we brought culture diversity to our campus as the kids went through. And I hope that this board, the leader of our district, please consider.
Thank
Please,
you.
we will not be silenced
Thank you.
if we don't see a change.
Okay, next up we have special recognition, and we will begin with Krause Elementary, and our principal, Courtney Mason, will introduce these special people.
Good evening. I'm very happy to have three guests with me tonight, Miss Rachel Parker, Miss Carolyn Rogers, and speak over there. This is Andrew Gordon. Miss Rachel Parker is a fourth grade math, science, and social studies teacher, and she is our teacher of the month. These were comments made by her peers as we do a voting process for our teacher of the month and also our paraprofessional of the month. So you'll hear what peers of both of these amazing ladies said about them at Krause Elementary. Ms. Parker goes above and beyond in her classroom, building relationships with her students. She shows them respect and dedication to accomplish goals each and every day. Rachel teaches, 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 and then she teaches some more. And it is often said that she tries to change the world in her classroom every single day, which is true. And when we don't change classes on time, no, I'm just kidding. They say, she's changing the world again in that room. Just wait on her to switch groups, which is very amazingly true. And I'm very proud of Rachel for being our teacher of the month for the month of March. Congratulations, Rachel. We love you. And Miss Carolyn Rogers is an amazing paraprofessional. She works with our inclusion special education students. And these are what your peers said about you. You interact so well with your students. You are reliable, and you are always smiling, and you have a positive attitude. They say she makes sure that her students have fun, but that they are also learning at the same time. She plans lessons for her students and sends home materials as well. Carolyn is very flexible and willing to do many tasks. And I say this, that she is very calm, cool, and collected every time that I ever see her in the building. We love you, Carolyn. Thank you so much for all you do. And Mr. Gordon, kindergarten student in Miss Wall's class. Miss Wall actually nominated him for our Kindness Club. We have a Kindness Club this year, and then from those Kindness Club members, we just randomly draw for our Students of the Month. So this is what his teacher said about him in nominating him for the Kindness Club. He always has the most positive attitude and is willing to help out any one of his friends at any time. He is a leader in his kindergarten class and works hard to accomplish his academic success. His smile lights up the room, and you can bet he will give the best hug too. And he prepared two? Okay. He has two jokes for you tonight.
Why did the cow cross the road to get to the other side?
Okay.
What did the egg say to the cook? You crack me up.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. All right. So all three of these amazing people represent our campus motto, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, So thank you guys for representing Krause Elementary. Great job.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to get a picture. Please. Okay. There you go, right here. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Mike. Next, Cassandra Davis will recognize our Child Nutrition Person of the Month.
Good evening. The Child Nutrition Employee of the Month is Barbara Coring. Barbara has served the students of Brenham ISD for 14 years and is currently a specialist at Krause Elementary. It's just Krause night all around tonight. Barbara is a dedicated employee who shows up to work every day with a smile. So far, she's only missed 2 days of work this year, and she volunteers to attend to other campuses when they're shorthanded. Barbara said she enjoys her job because she likes to cook and loves to be around children. When asked what her favorite school meal is, she replied, everything. I'm a huge advocate for my staff to eat the meals they prepare, and that was the best answer she could have given. Thank you, Barbara, for being a positive role model in our department. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Paul Aschenbeck will introduce our Maintenance Person of the Month.
Good evening. As you can see, Jacob just came from work. He's still in his work clothes and putting on every hat we got in our department. This is Jacob Oliver. He is our lead HVAC person, and as you know, we kind of went to we have Ideal Impact doing a lot of upgrades to our systems right now. So Jacob is running around from campus to campus trying to keep everybody comfortable, and he does a lot of other things for us, and he never will not. I mean, he always answers his phone in the evenings and things like that when we have something going on. He's just a good guy for our entire department and works hard each and every day. And he's also training one of the newbies we just hired a couple weeks ago. So appreciate everything you do, Jacob.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Cold one day.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
What'd you say? Oh.
And next, Dr. Chaplin will recognize our campus administrative assistants.
Okay, good evening. I want to take a second and recognize some people who really make everything work across the district for us. I think the administrators in the room and teachers in the room and listening at home will tell you it's these people that really run the district. So we want to make sure we have an opportunity to recognize them as well. So there's quite a few of you. I'm going to read your names. As I read your name, if you guys will come forward so that we can show you our appreciation. So thank you all for being here. From the high school, Wendy Ashorn, Leticia Bustos, Amanda Cervantes, Casey Deering, Heidi Evans, Nikki Caldas, Loretta Kapczynski, Kathy Klusman, Paulette Landers, and Blaine Ward. From Pride Academy, Noelle Ward. From the junior high, Brenna Landau, Maddie Barnes, Bridget Williams, Sonia Rocha, and Michelle Gakey. From the middle school, Crystal Rayleigh, Diane Garcia, Angie Iliff. From Alton Elementary, Michelle Yonner, Gail Solheimer. For a minute there, I thought we were by ourselves. So, man, so thank y'all for coming forward. I'm telling you, man. All right, Brenham Elementary, Lois Schleens, Jamie Reimer, Brenda Krusco from Krause Elementary, Delia Alvarez, Monica Kors, Ann Whiteman, and from ECLC, Arlene Robinson. So if you guys will come up here, we give you a round of applause. Thank you, ladies. There you go.
No. Which I don't. Oh.
I don't either. It's got to be
No, when someone carries it down.
Thank y'all. Next, we have our superintendent's update, Dr. Chappell.
Okay, a couple of things I want to update. I paused for a minute to see if anybody else wanted to leave, take the advantage to step out. Not you guys over here. You've got to stick around. A couple of things. A bond update. I've been to all of the campuses and presented the fact-based information on the bond to all of our faculty and got some good feedback, some good questions that's helped us clarify in future presentations. Brooke Trahan and I have been working on the website, and Tom, don't leave Tom Spall out, more Tom and Brooke than I, to make sure that we get information out to anybody who's looking for that. So if you go on our website, right on the front page to the right of the picture, you're going to see a tab that says BISD Bond 2022 information. Underneath that tab, you can find a lot of different components, from the tax impact, the bond components themselves, to public meeting dates that we have public meetings, and then also an FAQ that if they want to, a person could post a question in there, it would come to us, and then we could relay the answer to that individual, and if it's not something that we have as an FAQ, possibly add it to our FAQ. On the public meetings tabs, there's ones that are identified as public meetings, then there's some that will be identified as different organizations. For example, tomorrow I speak to the Brazos Valley retired school personnel. That one obviously is their group, so I don't necessarily want to invite everybody to their group because it's not my party to invite anybody to. But we do have quite a few public meetings where people can come. We'll do the presentation. We can have opportunities to walk through the junior high when the presentation is there, the high school if it's there, so people can really get a feel for what the bond components are. So those dates, board members, I gave to you guys on a sheet, but they're also on that website, the BISD Bond 2022 information. And that is a living document. As we continue to schedule more of those opportunities, we'll add those to that document. So any questions on the bond before I go to the next thing? Okay. Custodial services, as you guys know, you agreed to part ways with ABM, so I can't say enough about Christy and Marissa and the work that they have done to bring in and onboard the employees who want to join us for custodial staff, and that process is pretty extensive. They meet with every individual person to walk them through not only the application process, but what that looks like, benefits and different things like that. So make sure they're all fingerprinted. So it's an extensive process that we're just about all the way through those employees in anticipation of us making that transition on May 2nd. So I wanted to make sure I said I appreciate them. And so far the reception by our future custodial staff, our current custodians for ABM has been very, very, very positive. I think this is a really good thing to provide better opportunities for those individuals, both financially and as far as benefits. Then the last thing I have, and this is a celebration of a group that doesn't always get recognized, but our Brenham High School bowling team is going to state. So that's exactly right. So wish them luck on their journey, and that's all I have.
Next, we have the consent agenda. We can approve in one motion or pull any items for discussion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Kelvin Raven, seconded by Mike Altman to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have consideration of our District of Innovation DOI plan, and Dr. Chaplin will lead.
Okay, I've given you guys a little bit of context of our District of Innovation. Back in a legislative session in 2016, the legislature afforded local districts a little bit of flexibilities on certain statutes in the Texas Administrative Code. And those flexibilities, in order to get those, you formed a committee of citizens and school personnel to come up with a list of what flexibilities you want, and you create a District of Innovation based off of that. So back in 2016, actually February 20th of 2017, the board adopted a District of Innovation plan that afforded the following flexibilities. First day of school, so that you could fluctuate the first day of school prior to the fourth Monday in May, not in May, fourth Monday in August, which gives a little bit of flexibility and the ability actually to get out of school before Memorial Day. So that was one of them that's in the plan, that was in the plan from 2017. Another one is teacher certification for dual credit and career and tech classes, where you can have either an industry expert, if it's, say, a person who has worked in the welding field or nursing field, you can identify them as industry experts, or you can identify someone who is a professor, even though they're not SBEC certified, they can teach our dual credit classes because of their qualifications as a professor. And then the last one was one dealing with teacher contracts. By statute, if a person has worked 5 out of the last 8 years and they come to a district, they can go on a probationary contract for only 1 year, and then you have to offer them a contract. This flexibility afforded was to 2 years of probation. That way, if a person feels like you have a teacher that is not quite there, but you feel like they're growing and able to expand, you can put them on a second year versus either giving them a term contract or simply asking them to leave. So I utilized our Superintendent Advisory Committee of Teachers. We looked at the District of Innovation Plan, current language and everything, walked them through the process of renewing it or amending it if they so choose. They decided to just renew it as is, so there's not a word difference than the original plan other than saying renewed, and it would be renewed for an additional 5 years as allowed by the state. So, any questions?
Sounds very cut and dry.
I make a motion to renew the District of Innovation DOI plan for an additional 5 years as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mike Altman, seconded by Jared Krennick to renew the District of Innovation Plan, DOI, for an additional 5 years as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have an update from our Special Education Department. Our Director of Special Ed, Christy Johnson, will present. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank y'all for the opportunity to visit with y'all this evening and let you know where we are in special ed. The purpose of my time this evening is to let you know where we've been and where we're going. Change is a process, and Brenham ISD has gone through quite a bit of change in special ed over the last year, and so I'll talk about that change and kind of where we are and get started. So at first, I'd like to update you on our results-driven accountability. Brandy Hendricks reported on this last year prior to me arriving, so I'll start with where we were last year and then let you know where we are currently. In October of 2020, we received our rating for the 2019-2020 school year, and it was a determination level 4, which is where no one wants to be, but that's where we were, and so we started working together to develop a plan to move out of that determination level. We were one of 23 districts with a determination level 4 at that time. So this October, we received our determination level for the 2020-2021 school year, and we were a determination level 2. So we made significant growth in that time. We are one of 183 districts at a determination level 2. Obviously, our desired determination level is a determination level 1, and we're working hard and taking steps and have a plan in place to hopefully move towards that determination level in the next few years. So our determination level, some of the areas that were targeted last year and that continue to be targeted this year are our performance levels related to our instructional setting. And so what we're looking at is our amount of time in special education and then our amount of time in general education. And so 2 performance levels that determined our determination level was the amount of time, 80% of the day, in a general ed setting. And we were a performance level 2 for the 2020-2021 school year in that area. And for the amount of time in a SPED setting greater than 40% of the day in a SPED setting, we were performance level 3. We had a total of 6 areas where we were performance level 3 of last year. This one, and then the other 5 were related to STAR ratings. We STAR reading, science, social studies, and writing for grades 3 through 8, and then biology EOC. And so I highly believe that we correlate inclusion time to those STAR ratings. And so as our students are exposed to the curriculum in that inclusive setting, I anticipate those ratings to improve as well. So special ed in the regular class, 80% of the day. So talk about where we are and where we have been, and then what the state rate is for those. So in 2019, 36.5% of our students were in the regular education class 80% of the day. That was a performance level 3. In 2020, we had 44.6% of our special education students in the regular education class at least 80% of the day, which was also a performance level 3. And then this past year for the 2020-2021 school year, we had 52.1% of students in the general education class at least 80% of the day. And then currently, data ran last week, we were at 80.27%, which is a performance level 0. And so the state rate from 2019 through 2021 was 69.7, all the way till 2021, a 72.1%. And so the other indicator that I pointed out was the special ed in the regular education class less than 40% of the day. So in 2019, we had 26.3% of our students in the special education class, the majority of the day, and so that is a performance level 3. In 2020, we had 27.8% of our students in the special ed regular class less than 40% of the day, and that was a performance level 3. Again, in 2021, we were at 26.6%, which was a performance level 3, and then currently we're at 13.9%, which is a performance level 1, which aligns at right where the state was last year with 13.9%. So these 2 areas in the general education class, greater than 80% of the day, and in the special ed class, the majority of the day fall, or where the majority of our students fall. We have 94% of our students that currently fall in these 2 areas, and then there's the in-between range, and that's what the next slide will show you. So instructional setting codes are what these are. So instructional setting codes of 40 and 41 is where that first indicator, and so those are our students that are in the gen ed setting the majority of the day. It doesn't mean they're in the gen ed setting the entire day, but at least 80% of the day. And then 44 is where the last group of students fall, and so they are receiving services in a special ed setting for more than 60% of the day, or less than 40% or less in a gen ed setting. So students, like I said, are in either the gen ed setting greater than 80% of the day or in a sped setting for the majority of the day. But students don't move from one extreme to another. There's a full continuum of services, and those services are driven by ARD committees. So we look at students' present levels of performance, their evaluation data, and then how they're making progress in their setting. And so if students are struggling with the environment they're in, ARD committees go and they revisit and they move from one setting to another. And so it ebbs and flows one way or the other. So we decrease support as progress is made, or we increase support as students are struggling in those educational environments. So the two areas that I pointed out to you fall in the green area or the red area. So that's kind of how the process flows. So as I initially started by speaking, change is hard, and sometimes we get pushed back and sometimes it's a struggle, but we've been developing a plan to support our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our administrators, all stakeholders on this process, and our parents as well. So in the summer of 2021, there were some trainings put together. I did a training on collaborative partners, tips and tools. We talked about collaborative partners and case management. We had a consultant come in and work through that. And then we had our behavior staff work on past training and partnership with Region 6 for some past behavior training for our teachers that support some of our behavior students in the inclusion environment. And so this school year, we have done some trainings and we have some still coming. I've worked with campuses on station teaching and what that looks like, the collaborative partners next steps. So we've gotten started on that collaborative partnership and supporting those students in general ed. What are our next steps to take? Accommodations and modifications training, our teachers indicated they needed some support and some additional training on what that looked like. So we met last month and walked through that. Snap and read and co-writer training for our campuses and for some of our students on our campuses as well. This is a program that's available to all students in Brenham ISD, and it is a text-to-speech and a speech-to-text software program that's pushed out through our Google accounts. And so all students have access to that, and it's making sure that our students and teachers are aware of this feature. Then effective co-teaching is coming up at Region. Effective co-teaching happened in February at Region 6 with Dr. Marilyn Friend, and we signed up both general education and special education partners to attend that virtually. It was done virtually. Specially designed instruction is coming up in March after spring break with Dr. Marilyn Friend. And again, both the partners, general ed and sped teachers that are wanting to participate in that. An accommodation and modification training that's on demand. It's a 2-hour training. And so any teacher that's wanting additional information and a good overview of accommodation and modifications. And then some training opportunities that are coming up for through the summer through the start of next school year, and we're still working on developing our summer training plan, so this will even expand further. We have inclusion solutions and strategies. That's for our paraprofessionals working with our students in the district, and so it is a monthly meeting and some training for them. Disability 101, it's some training my assessment staff are working on developing for all teachers, paras that are interested in attending this summer. Repeat of the collaborative partners tips and tools. I'm sure we'll have new people to our collaborative partner teams and want to make sure they're equipped to start the year. Training on documenting the services we're providing. And then there's a special ed virtual conference through Region 6 and an Inclusion 6 cohort. That's a partnership with Lead Forward that teachers from each campus will be invited to participate in. So not only is training important, communication is important. And so it's important that staff feel that they can reach out to me and they know I'm available to answer questions and offer guidance and support, but also, administrators, anybody kind of that has questions. So I meet with our special ed department chairs twice a month. We go over new ideas, tips, answer questions. I'm meeting with PLCs on campuses to get feedback and information, and then I meet with administrators through our ATM meetings and assistant principal meetings. And so one of the ways I start my meetings is with success stories. I think it's important to look at the positive, look at things that are going well. Sometimes we get stuck in what's not going right, so start with what's going well. And so some of the success stories I've heard recently, had a junior high teacher share with me that one of her inclusion students surprised her with the highest score on a benchmark exam. And so she was really excited to share. Middle school, a teacher that wasn't really excited about inclusion and didn't really embrace it, was really excited to share that her students in her inclusion classes were accomplishing things that she never thought possible. So, really getting some good feedback and making progress. And so that's kind of our state of special ed. Questions?
Well, state school students are included in this count also,
Yes, they are included in this count also.
and we have at the high school, and most of them at the high school, right?
Yes, yes, they are included in this percentage.
Did we have enough staff to support the inclusion, the kids that were added through the program?
So that was a struggle, and I don't know that it was a struggle. It was just a struggle with hiring. So, some of the campuses, it could have been a little less painful and a little less trying on our campus staff and our campus teachers if we were a little better staffed. And so we had to put our brains together and figure out a plan to make sure that it worked. I'm hopeful that next year we have a good plan moving forward. And part of this plan is starting now, working with campus administrators and looking at scheduling. Special ed students sometimes are difficult to schedule in that master schedule. And so if you spread them out between 8 teachers, it may be difficult to support, but you also don't want to spread them all out in one room either. So it's really kind of hand scheduling and looking at those student needs and working with campus administrators that may have not had to put together those puzzle pieces. It's lots of Post-it notes and lots of chart paper, but it definitely can work. It's just, making a plan with that. But staffing was challenging this year, as I think it was everywhere.
Across the board.
And in those inclusion classes, do we have full-time teachers assistant, or they just kind of like part of the day?
So it depends on what the needs of the students are in that class. For the majority, it's a portion of the day. Secondary, with it being a schedule, those classes usually are scheduled for the majority of the day, but some of our students are only ARTed for 50-50 or a part-time support. So then the teachers are there. Just like you don't want to under-support students, you definitely don't want to over-support them as well and make them become dependent on assistance they don't need. So it does vary. Majority is a part of the day, but there are some that are, more than that.
So have you reached out to the state school employees, staff there to help to assist with the teachers with behavioral problems at the high school or any school?
Yes, so we do work with the state school. We meet with them quarterly, and I talk with them much more frequently. And so, as issues arise and problems arise, we do collaborate and work together and get together and sit down in a room and brainstorm on solutions and plans, yes.
So do they get a chance to come be one-on-one in these classrooms if it gets to that?
Yes, so
Okay.
if there's a need and that, we can't require them to attend
I got you.
one-on-one, but if there is a need and they feel that the student requires additional support, they can, and they have sent staff to support students.
Thank you.
Yes.
The age range of students from the state school that are in special classes?
So from the state school, we have students that range from the 6th grade level up through high school.
None below 6th grade?
No, we have not had any below 6th grade
Okay.
this year since I've been here.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay, next we have our monthly reports for information purposes. Any questions? Okay. Then we will go into executive session at 6:39 according to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapters 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.074, personnel matters. All final votes, actions, or decisions will be taken in open meeting. Thank you and good evening. It's 7:49 PM. We've returned to open session. And what are the wishes of the board?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrative contracts for the 2022-2023 school year as presented.
Okay, we have a motion made by Jared Krennick, seconded by Mark Schneider to approve the administrative contracts for the 2022-2023 school year as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, and with no further business before the board, we will adjourn at 7:50 PM. Have a good evening.